Welcome to the Limitless Ladies in Leadership podcast. I'm your host, Danielle, and I've created a space for the many powerful, creative, and limitless female leaders to share their stories. From female CEOs to professional athletes and doctors, every powerful woman has a story to tell. There's no guarantee where this podcast will take us, so welcome to the unfiltered, unedited, and badass space for all women to align. If you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to show some love on Patreon at Limitless Ladies in Leadership. But for now, welcome to the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another podcast. I'm your host, Danielle, and on the phone with me today is Tyronica Gibson. Tyronica is the professional peopler and identifies with the title Miss Live Your Best Life. She is also the creator of the new app and platform Parent Playground, the mobile social network for parents to set up live play dates for their kids and connect with other parents that have similar interests. In October of 2019, Tyronica became the co-founder of the women's networking group, the Virago Association. You may have to correct me on the pronunciation, where she strives to share her knowledge in helping other women move forward in their careers and businesses. Welcome, Tyronica.
Yay, thank you.
I'm so excited to have you today. And before we get started with the interview, I like to start all of my podcasts out with asking each one of my guests what their personal definition of the word limitless is. So what's yours?
My personal definition of limitless is literally not having any limits, seeing all of the possibilities, seeing every possibility, knowing consistently that there is a possibility, being limitless because there's more than one way to the top and I'm going to find it.
Yes, you are. And you're on that journey and I can't wait to dive into your story. And I know, as I know you today, that this is how you are now, but has this always been a part of you?
No, I used to really just be, I've always had like a self-confidence issue. And even though I was always like cheer captain or dance captain or whatever, it was because other people were telling me that I was this thing and I was just so good at dancing. But it was never a thing of coming from the inside. Okay. So it was like I always needed validation from the outside. And even when I had the hottest body, I still felt insecure. So it's like it's a flip side. I didn't used to be like this, but I'm happy I'm here today.
Yeah, and I want to dive a little more into your personal story before today because I can relate to this so much. Like I was in cheer, I was in dance, I was always pretty fit and like other people would make comments, but it's like other people's opinions didn't necessarily have much of an influence on the way that I felt on the inside. Let's just break it down a little. What were some of your personal challenges growing up, maybe in social situations or where you just really didn't feel enough?
So I was always the popular / not popular kid. I was popular. I was well known because I was always, on cheer, on dance, cheer captain, whatever. So I was known in that respective, but I wasn't the popular kid. So I felt, I don't know, I didn't like to be seen that much, which is weird. I only like to be seen in that stage. And that was because I'm surrounded by a bunch of other people. So it's like, I can still blend in even though I'm standing out. So it was like weird, and then I was always quiet. I didn't speak up for myself. And I was kind of like a teacher's pet growing up. So I don't know, I stayed in the background even when I was in the spotlight.
I can totally relate. Yeah, it totally makes sense. I totally get it. And like the teacher's pet thing, it was like, even in early jobs, when I was a teenager, it's like I wanted to be the boss's friend and I, wanted these certain things, but like also let me sit back a little.
Yeah, that's how I always was. I was always the, employee of the month and stuff like that. So it was like I was seemingly always found a way to be in the spotlight without me trying. And it's like, I guess I didn't know what to do with that because it was my confidence. I didn't have the confidence to believe that I deserved to be there, so to speak, because I didn't really believe it. And my grandmother, she used to actually make me walk around the house with books on my head so that I would have perfect posture. And then I always spoke proper And then, coming from where I come from, the Black community, and when you speak like you have some sense, then you're told that you talk white. So that was another insecurity of me growing up, saying, oh, you're whitewashed, you talk white. And it's just like, no, I talk like I know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know what you want from me. So it was always like that battle, and me trying to prove myself that I could be quote unquote down, when really I don't have to prove that anymore.
Yeah. Do you feel that because of this sort of, I don't know, idea that you were creating in your head, that maybe you had a bit of an identity crisis with who you were or who you wanted to be? Yeah,
for sure. Because I originally wanted to be a singer, but I can't sing for shit. So that was an identity crisis for sure. I kept being told that I should go into dance professionally, or, everything else that I should do because I was just naturally like good at it. But I like doing it as a hobby and not someone telling me, now do it, or be here and do it. It's like, now I still dance, but I dance in the comfort of my room. So I can get up at midnight and dance in my bedroom if I want to. And I love it. And sometimes I decide to create a video and make a little music video out of it, but it's on my terms when I feel it. Because when I'm dancing, it's literally an expression. So it's different for me doing it now versus when I was coming up. I was being told to express this person's story instead of my story, kind of like a musical artist. Like if you're not writing your own music, you can't really connect to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I relate to that so much. Now, we mentioned in the intro of the podcast that you're a bit of a peopler, so I'd love to hear what your definition of that is.
A peopler is someone who can literally walk into any room. I can have a conversation with the eldest of the eldest, and I can have a conversation with the youngest child that is either a baby or even toddler in the teens. Like, I can relate to everyone. Like, I find we're all human beings. So I know there's something in common that we all have, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So it's just about starting that conversation and finding it. And the funny thing about me being a peopler is I'm very much so an introvert.
Yeah.
And it just literally drains me. And I keep finding myself and putting myself in positions where I literally get to people all the time. Yeah. And I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? On one hand, I love it so much, but on the other hand, it's literally so draining. Like when I get done with the day, I literally just want to retreat back and turn off my phone. And I don't want to hear anybody else's voice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's weird. It's weird because I'm so good with people. It's so good with people.
I don't think it's weird, probably because I'm the exact same way. Like I, at my old job, I was, same job, old department. I was the manager of a department. And I was the only one that worked in that department all, full time. There were other people that came in, and I managed a podcast studio. And, whenever there was nobody recording, my door was closed. And when people would come by, I'm like, oh my God, like, especially if they would come by unannounced, I'm like, this is so, like, I would just take on all of the things from all the people. It was just so overwhelming.
See, and I think, and that's even down to where I live. I literally live on the opposite side of town from everyone that I associate with. And it's like, I swear I didn't do that on purpose, but did I? Did I really do it on purpose? Like subconsciously, like, did I set it up that way? So I can literally go on stage, give the most powerful speech with the most passion ever, and then get off stage and put my hoodie on and just become invisible.
Yeah. Yeah, so a couple of things were coming up while you were describing this, besides all the relation I have to your story. But I noticed that you're very versatile. You're talking about speaking to young children versus speaking to older people and having that relatability. And for me, like, I can also relate to this, that at times, like, this is amazing because you can literally, like, have a conversation with anyone. But for me personally, it goes back to what you were sharing about the identity crisis, that I know that there's been times where I'm like, who am I? Like, if I can relate to the cowboy in Oklahoma, the white boy, and then I can relate to, the Mexican guy that's down in Tijuana, and like, we can have similar conversations, but about totally different stuff. I start wondering, like, am I being fake? Am I like, what do I really stand? What do I really love? And I don't know, is that something that you still deal with, or you just kind of accepted?
I think now I accepted it, and I really believe it comes from a place of me truly being limitless and understanding that the reason why I'm able to relate to so many different people on so many different levels is because I just understand us on a basic level. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we're all human. Like at the end of the day, we all have something in common. So there's no reason why I can't go anywhere and not have a conversation about something, because like it is somebody from overseas who may not even speak the same language as me, but we both may really love tacos. So there is something that is a connection there regardless. And sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to find that connection. But at the end of the day, when you run into these people, think about where you're running into them. So you can have nothing in common, but you're both at the grocery store.
Yeah.
So that starts off you're in common. Okay, now you bump into each other in the same aisle. So what are you guys getting? Mm-hmm. So it starts from something. Like there's no way we're all not connected.
Yeah.
So, and as far as like the identity crisis, that's also where I think it came from, because I didn't understand my limitless being.
Yeah.
I can't be in a box. So when you ask me who Tyronica is, I literally reply nowadays like I'm everything.
Yeah.
It depends on the day and the hour.
I love that. Like, I love how you're able to, like, it's the same quality, the same characteristic, but like you're able to kind of shift the perspective of it. Like,
yeah, definitely.
That's how I felt before. That was like, man, this is really hard. Just, whatever. And then people would be like, what are you talking about? Like, you have so many gifts to be able to talk to so many people. And this is like really good for business, and it's good for relationships, and it's good for all this. And I'm like, I just couldn't see it at the time.
Yeah.
Do you also believe, because when you were talking about maybe getting overwhelmed with too many people or being somewhat of an introvert, do you also believe that you're sort of an empath in that way?
Yeah, I think that's why I get so drained. And I literally trust my intuition and my gut so much. Sometimes when you ask me about something and I would tell you, I'm going to figure it out. And you'd be like, how? I don't know. I'm just going to go for it. I'm one of the people, like Dane Cook said, where I'll just jump off a cliff and figure out how I'm going to fly later. I'll just figure it out on my way down. I don't know. So, I mean, I've made it this far, right?
Yeah. And at least you're willing to jump, because a lot of people are going to stand on the end of that cliff and, contemplate a million things before they jump and never do it.
Yeah. My thing is, you never know until you put yourself in that position. And the way I look at it, I have survived 100% of the bullshit that I've put myself through. So, I mean, I came on the other side even better. So I'm not even scared of my pants being on fire, because the fact that I can still walk, my pants will literally be on fire, and you'll ask me how I'm doing. And I say, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. And you'll be like, really? Because, it looks like you're going up in flames. And he's like, nope, I'm walking towards the water. There's water around here somewhere. Nope, let's hold on a second.
Yeah, no, I love it.
That's part of like denial, but it's like it always gets fixed though. So it's like, why panic?
Right. And I think there's a certain credit that should be given to having that glass half full attitude. That's like, sure, the world is burning around me, but does that mean that I need to sit here and cry about it? Or should I keep going? So I really like that. Before the podcast, you had mentioned to me that you're a bit of an alpha female. I can also relate to this. So I'd love to talk about how this can be difficult in certain ways.
Well, okay. So how do I start this off? So I grew up I have a bunch of brothers. And I am the second oldest.
Okay.
And I didn't meet my older brother until I was 19. So I grew up being the oldest. So that's where my control came in, because now I feel like I'm in control of like all these men. You guys do what I say or else. And it just always worked because, I'm the big sister. And that comes into a lot of play, especially like in the workplace when I was in the field before I started my own business. I think they kind of felt intimidated by that because I wasn't afraid to use my voice, especially when I found it after high school. Because once I found my voice, like you just couldn't get me to shut up.
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't have a problem being vocal. And then even at my last company, you know, you have like your chain of command. You have me, then you have your supervisor, then you have your supervisor, and then you have the branch manager, right? Like your head honcho. I'm not to be disrespectful to my supervisor. I literally always went straight to the branch manager.
Mm-hmm.
I need to speak to the person in charge who can make the final decision. This whole middleman stuff, I don't need the middleman. Cut the middleman out. I want to talk to the source. So I think that kind of got construed on that being like disrespectful, but it's not that. It's just the fact that because I'm such like an alpha female and taking control, I don't want to wait and then you trying to pass my message along. It could be, you know, people can change up one word and it makes the whole sentence differently. So I like to convey my own message. So guess who I'm going to go to? The person who can make my message happen and execute it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to someone who can't do anything in that realm. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. And especially because you're smart, like, this is something that I've also ran into, that I've done the same thing many a times. And, you know, I, with the same as you, like no intention of like undermining someone else. And like internally, yeah, there was definitely at times different situations where there was a little bit of ego that was like, okay, I know this one person's above me, but like I also know that I know more about this topic than they do. So it would, you know, make sense to go to HR or go to an owner or something instead of like trying to explain this whole situation to this person who doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
But yeah, it can totally, like, obviously that makes people feel undermined and they feel unappreciated and they, you know, don't appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's just like, I try to explain it. Like, you know, I told my supervisor one time, I was like, it's like, you always just go to, you know, the branch manager. I'm like, yeah, because I'm trying to, my whole point of speaking, I'm trying to get something done. So what's going to happen with you is I'm going to talk to you about it. Then you're going to have to remember exactly what I said, try to convey my message, go tell them. Then when they're confused, they're going to tell you, you're going to come back to me. Then I'm still going to have to go back and talk to them myself. So it's like, why don't we just call out the process for all of us and just let me do that? Now, if it's something that you can handle, I go to the people who are appropriate. So even if it wasn't my direct supervisor, if there's another supervisor I know is a specialist in this area, like a knowledge, then I'm going to go to them in that thing. So it's not about even a disrespect. It's about we get to channel our information to the appropriate paths. Like, that's just how it works. So like, don't take it personal because we all do it the same thing in different areas. So you have this title, great, but we all don't know everything about everything.
Right.
So
like, I'm not going to go to a plumber on, you know, advice on cooking my food. Like,
right. Especially when the plumber doesn't go home and cook.
Right.
So that doesn't even make any sense to me. So yeah, no. And then it's also a big thing when it comes to dating. Like when I meet guys, it's like, they're like, yeah, you do so much. And it's like, yeah, and I also work so much. So it's like, and I'm also a mom. So you get to understand that. And I'm going to work with you if you're working with me. And then they're like, well, I need somebody who's submissive. That's fine. But you have to give me something to submit to.
Yeah. Catch up then.
Right. And they're just like, oh, like you're bold. And then are there say like a compliment or something? I'd be like, yeah, I know. Thank you. And they'd be like, oh, like, what did this guy call me like a month ago? He said that I was, it was something like conceited. It wasn't the word conceited, but it was in the same like realm. And I'm like, no, you're used to talking to women who don't understand their value. So when you said that, oh, I'm smart or something, and I say, I know, I'm agreeing with you. You're used to women replying back to you and said, oh, you think so? Like, yeah, no, I think so too. Like, so you're used to women devaluing themselves. And it's like, I'm not her. And he's like, oh, yeah, like, oh, so what's the next question you have for me? And then So it's just like, that just lets them know off top, like, you can't take advantage of the situation when you have someone that knows they're great, but you should want to be with someone that knows that they're great, because that
Right.
gives you less problem. Because if you have someone hassling you, want to go through your phone, oh, you thought that you said that girl was pretty, like, you know what, I thought she was pretty too,
Yeah.
like, hey. Right. Like, I probably pointed her out, like, dang, like her hair looks nice. Like, her dress is nice. So it's just like, no, like, I don't, yes, back in the day, I was definitely that girlfriend wife that I gotta go to your phone. You looking at her too much. You liking her picture. Yeah, no. So to me, that's not me anymore.
That's so funny because that used to be me too. And like now, not at all. Like I remember going on a date, like, I don't know, it was like 5 years ago or something, but we were at the beach and I like saw this girl that was like banging. Like she was so fit and she had a big old butt and like she looked amazing. And I'm walking with him and I'm like, dang, did you see her butt? Like, holy shit, you know? And he's like, he kind of looked at me and I'm like, you're allowed to like it. Like we're humans, you know, like there's a certain boundary that gets to happen if it went further, but like we can acknowledge that she's hot, you know, it doesn't mean anything.
Right. Like, it's okay. It's different if we're like out on a date and then you just start like staring somebody down.
Right.
But it's like, you know what? We're all human and we're all attracted to certain things. So just because you get into a relationship, that attraction does not stop.
Right.
Like you're always going to see somebody that you're attracted to. Like that doesn't stop. Now, your actions and your mental state after that, that's where the problem comes in. But I'm definitely not going to not appreciate a guy. And like, if we're out, like if a guy smells good, I love men that wear cologne. Oh my gosh. I don't care who you are. If you walk past me, especially if you're open at my door and like we're like in close proximity and I get a whiff of your cologne, I'm definitely going to tell you, you smell nice today.
Yeah.
And some guys would think that like I'm flirting. Like, no, I'm a human. I think that you should probably get appreciated for the fact that you took time for your hygiene for one, and then you went the next step and put on cologne.
Yeah.
So yes, you deserve to be told you smell good. You smell good today. Thank you. You're welcome. Even exchange. Keep going on about your day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if I think you're attractive, then I'll tell you that. But if I just tell you smell good, just take your compliment and we can move on.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
I think we all need to be complimenting each other a hell of a lot more than we do, and then it wouldn't seem so awkward when some of us do.
Yeah, because we're such in a culture of like bashing people so much that I think when you compliment someone, they automatically take it as like a flirt or you like them. And it's like, no, like this is a basic appreciation of your human being.
Yeah.
You're literally getting appreciated for just trying and putting in an effort today. Like, yeah, I'm really big on complimenting everyone. I try to compliment someone every time I go out.
That's good.
Like, just because, like, because you never know, like that one thing could be something like different. Because, you know, the days when we go out and we don't feel like all that cute or whatever. And just like earlier when you compliment me on my hair, I'm just like, whatever. But it's like, you know what? Like, thank you. Like, I appreciate that. So it's just like, let people know, like, when they do put in the effort, like it's okay to acknowledge them.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. Be nice.
Yeah, be nice. It's so funny you're saying this right now because there's a guy at my work and he's kind of the male version of me maybe like 5 years ago when I still had a lot more internal things that were going on. And so me and him have butt heads a few times. We're both alpha. We're both in management positions. We're like manage different departments. And there's been a few times where it's like, rah! And like today, I really noticed how much he was working. Like he works more than 40 hours a week. His department is insane right now. And like, I realized how stressed out he was. So I shot him a text right before our podcast and I was like, hey guy, I'm not going to say his name. I just wanted to let you know that I see you. Like you're doing amazing. And I really see all this hard work you're putting in. And I just wanted to say that like, it's not just me, but other people see what you're doing. So thank you. And I haven't checked my phone yet, so I don't know if he responded, but none of that matters. It was just, it kind of felt good. It was like, you know what? We've butted heads before and that's fine. But like, I could still acknowledge him. I could still give him a compliment for what he's doing.
Right, exactly. I think if we just take the time out to just appreciate people, I mean, the world definitely would be a better place. And especially with me creating this space for myself and getting more and more comfortable with me and my power.
Yeah.
It's like I'm literally feel like I'm like a teapot, like boiling and over.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want to share this. I just want to give this energy back out because it's so much for me to handle. And it's like, I don't get to keep all this for myself. I do get to share it.
Yeah.
So let me give you some. I'm like Oprah. You get some. You get some. You get some. Right. So it's just like, please take it, people. When you see me and I give you a compliment, take it.
Yeah.
You can say, when I say something nice, oh, your hair looks nice. Oh, I know. Girl, yes, that's right. You know it. Love yourself.
Yeah. I love that. And with everything that you have going on, we mentioned you're also a mom. And that's one thing I don't relate to is I do not have any children. How many children do you have?
Just one.
Just one.
That's enough.
Well, I wouldn't say just. Yeah, one's a lot.
One is a lot. And the fact that she's me in another body.
Aww.
So imagine that. Yeah. So when I grew up, I wasn't as vocal because I had all these internalizations that I was raised with. And then I was raised in the household where children don't have a voice.
Yeah.
I don't raise my daughter that way. So she's literally just me. And if she feels a way, she'll definitely has no problem with letting you know. She'll tell you exactly what's on her mind. She'll say, Mom, I need to talk to you. She'll tell me I hurt her feelings because I made her clean your room. Or, I didn't let her have extra sweets, which is fine. I mean, you can definitely express yourself. So I'm really making sure that the issues and insecurities that I had growing up, that I'm not passing down to her.
Yeah.
She knows that she's beautiful. She knows she has a voice and a right to speak and a right to protect herself.
Yeah, that's amazing. We need some more of that in the world too.
I'm trying, girl. I'm trying. That's doing that through my platform, doing Parent Playground. And then with the podcast I have coming out, it's literally like a platform for, not only the parents to speak up, but I'm going to give the kids an opportunity to speak up for themselves. And it really starts. Yeah. So in the app, I actually have a space in there in the magazine where I highlight kidpreneurs. So I try to do that every month. And, there's a lot of kid bosses out there. So their voices get to be heard. And I definitely want to be that platform for them.
Yeah, so let's dive into Parent Playground because I'm so excited about this, not even being a mom, but the whole idea is amazing. So let's just hear, what is Parent Playground? So Parent Playground is a app social network for parents to literally connect. It came up for two different major reasons. One, I was a new mom, young mom, and I'm from LA. And I ended up moving to St. Louis with her father. So she was born in St. Louis. And I didn't know anyone there. Granted, I had some family there, but, they were all older. So it wasn't like anybody who I can go out and kick it with, it was a great safe haven if I needed, support or whatever. But knowing let me call you, let's go out to dinner or something really quick. So I had to figure it out when I was there. What's fun to do, kid stuff, parks that are probably cool for kids, shows. And it's I'm going around to all these different places, trying to get the information. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Eventbrite, and trying to gather all these resources to figure out one thing to do. Then when she was 1, we ended up moving to Vegas. So I had to start all over. So, and Vegas is at first I'm thinking oh, it's just a strip, but there's so much more to Vegas. Again, I'm going around. Vegas had a lot more resources, but again, it was me going to the grocery stores, getting the kids directory, getting the parent directory, going to the city of Henderson website, seeing what activities they had planned, then going to Facebook. So it was damn, how about we just have this all in one place? So Parent Playground is a resource for parents to not only connect with other parents and do play dates, which is kind of not a thing right now because of COVID. Mm-hmm. But it's a new mover's guide for families. So you can go on there, download the app. You can immediately find, in Vegas, I have all the splash pads listed.
That's a for sure free thing to do in the summertime, and it gets super hot. Then I have things to do, indoor playgrounds, because again, it gets really hot in the summer. So it's like you can literally just download the app and get your family acclimated on things to do that's always going to be like year round. And then throughout the year, I do post like updated, like maybe like pop-up events or something. But you're always going to have one place to go to find your doctors that are parent recommended, find virtual tutors because you're moving. Maybe your kid needs to catch up because they're changing from one school district to another.
Wow.
So it's like things that literally can make your life so much easier and consolidated in one place.
Wow. So how far?
And now you have parent.
Yeah, I love it. And how far does the app stretch? Like, is it for Nevada? Is it for the United States?
Yeah, it's in the Apple stores and it's in the Google Play. So I'm technically available all over the world. And I have had some people overseas like use the app, but I don't really have anything in there for them. So I started off in Vegas. I have branched out to LA County, Orange County, Jackson, Mississippi. And I started branching out into Seattle, Washington. Next after that will be Nashville, Tennessee. So the app is available everywhere, and I do have resources that are very general, and then I have specific resources for those areas. So how it works is if you download the app and you send me a message, or you just go to the website and you say, hey, you don't have Miami, Florida in there, and I need some resources in Miami, Florida. Then I would just start building out the Miami, Florida resources for you. So the app is only 7 months old. So I build out based on parent demand. So eventually I will be everywhere, but the rollout, it just literally just ask me. Yeah. Send me a message, shoot me a text, like email me, whatever, like I'll start building it out. So Seattle came up because one of my friend's daughters just moved there, and she's like, she moved there during COVID. She doesn't know anyone. Cool, great. I'll start connecting with businesses in the area, figure out, what's what, asking the local parents, putting all the information in the app for her. So she can literally just go to the app, start connecting with other parents, and actually start doing stuff with her kids before she can connect with other parents.
That's so cool. So if someone is in a city that you haven't reached out to yet, and maybe they're even interested in being a contributor to your app or like adding some more information, is that a feature you have yet?
Yeah, so basically, they don't have access to adding information themselves unless they're adding it in the social walls and the community walls where you can actually interact with the other parents. But if it's something like they say, hey, I know this doctor office that's, out here in Houston, Texas, I want to get that listed in the app. Again, shoot me an email, I'll check them out, make sure they are legit and don't have any crazy, don't have anything crazy going on, and put them in the app. And that's another thing. I don't just throw anything in there. All of the virtual tutors are virtual. They all either are, you have the choice to choose between someone that's completely certified, like a teacher or an actual certified tutor, or someone that's just maybe in high school or in college and they're not certified, but you're like, hey, this person fits in my budget and they are smart in math and they can tutor my first grader. So I have something for everyone, and cool. All of the businesses in there, they are all like checked. There's no one in there that has anything crazy going on or anything like that. So,
wow, this is huge. This is so cool.
Yeah. And then I also include dads. When I was researching like playdate apps, there's so many out there, but like they're all like mommy names and all this stuff that cater to like women. And it's like, and then I'll read the description. It's one app that's literally named like mom something. And their description says a place for parents, for dads and moms to find play dates. And I'm like, oh, that's funny because that's not what your name says. Yeah. Like, I'm like, what man wants to download that? And then your logo was pink and it has a woman on there. So like no dad wants to download that. Like, so that also came from, Kelsey's dad. He's just like, I don't know what to do with her when I have her. And it was a point to where I was like planning like their weekends and giving them stuff to do and like sending him like Facebook events and Messenger. And I'm like, no, I need to stop that. So parent playground, dads, you have somewhere to go. And I even have an article in there with girl dads of them talking about what they do with their girls. Oh. So yeah, dads, you don't have no excuse. No excuse now.
That's so cool. Wow. I didn't realize how many facets there were to this. And this is amazing. I can't wait to see this even grow more and like really become like this huge thing because it's already grown so much.
Yeah, it's crazy. I literally only literally only planned for it to just be an app. And then again, I had the idea for this in the space where I still was not valuing myself, not realizing like my power and everything. So the more that I grew, the app grew, and the app was like kind of like ahead of me. So then it was forcing me to grow even more. And I'm just like, oh shoot. And then when people would like discover the app and I tell them like what it does, they would be more excited than me. And I'm just like, am I like tripping? And I'm like, okay. And people like started making me offers and supporting me. And they're just like freaking out. And I'm just like, okay, I'm missing something. So Parent Playground went to just an app to now we have virtual events. We have in-person events, which we're limiting to because of COVID. But, you know, hopefully this summer we can start, you know, rolling more into that. And, you know, just, hosting like all of that stuff. So it's a lot more to come with Parent Playground that I can't discuss right now, but you guys are going to be super excited about it. But the events right now are like the main thing.
Yeah. Gosh, that's so exciting. This is so cool. So getting a little bit away from the app itself, but just you as a business owner. So if you had to give some advice for someone that reminds you of young Tyronica, right? That had all these dreams and maybe just didn't have that last little push to go. Like, what would you say to them?
Damn it, do it. That's it. Stop thinking you don't need the money to start it. Just go for it. Think about the kids with lemonade stand. They literally had no website, no logo, no brand, no process. They had a brown cardboard box and a marker from the dollar store and wrote lemonade $2 and just started selling. So just start, like, because everything is going to start coming. And my grandfather always told me people are willing to support you more when they see you supporting yourself.
Yes.
So just get out there, because look it, you're going to have that cardboard box. Guess what? Somebody's going to drive by and they're going to say, you know what? I have a sign maker in my garage. I'm just going to make you a sign. And then they're going to bring it to you. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh. When really, it's just like, I deserve this.
Yeah.
Like, great. Like, thank you. And that's literally how it's been happening. Like,
that's
just
so cool.
do it.
That's so cool. And I hear this so many times with business owners and, you know, listening to podcasts or reading books and stuff. And so many of them, it's like, they give the advice of don't go necessarily for the money. Go for something that you love and something that you can see yourself continuing to do and continuing to grow with, and the money will come because of your passion. Like I see a lot of people, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this because we're all different, but I see a lot of people that would say, you know, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be an astronaut, whatever, because they make money, not because they actually feel that they want to do those things. And then they get bored of it and they get over it and they get burnt out and they, you know, are having trouble finding a new passion, or they get older and they're thinking, oh, I'm too old to change now. And it's like, no, like none of those things are true. Just keep following what you love and the rest will come.
Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly. So before I found Parent Playground, I was on a journey. So how I got into entrepreneurship, I got fired from my job one day. Now, I was one of the best employees. I was like on the website, being highlighted, got interviewed and everything. And one day they just decided that I'm not valuable. So I was just like, I don't ever want to feel like this, like again, someone just to wake up one day and tell me that I'm not valuable.
Yeah.
So I started doing, just tapping into my, my hobbies. It's like, okay, now I need to go into business for myself, but I can't just pick anything that just makes money. So I was already doing CBD on the side. That was like my side hustle. So I was doing that, and I, was trying to go full force with that. And that was great for a while. And it's like, I love helping people. And then like all of my customers, especially my grandfather, he was seeing great, results. And it's like, I love this, but it's something missing though. Like, it's something missing. So I went into refurbishing furniture because when I moved into my apartment, you know, I didn't have enough money to get furniture. So I literally got one piece of furniture like at a time. First I got my couch. So the first 2 weeks, me and my daughter moved into the apartment where we sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, you know, we're waiting for our beds to get like delivered. So that was like the first thing I got. Then I got my couch. Then I went and got my dining room table, and that wasn't even whole. I went to freaking Home Depot and bought the picnic table that was like in pieces. Because it was a picnic table that I saw online that was like super cute. And it was like a dining room picnic table. And I'm like, I really want that. So I hit up the lady who made it. And she's like, yeah, it's $1,000. And I'm like, oh, can't do that. I found it for $200 at Home Depot. I built it myself. I went to YouTube, got the paint. I primed it in my living room, painted it, let it dry. And now I have this beautiful masterpiece. And then I found a dresser out by someone was moving. They put it by like the dumpsters, like for somebody to take it. Cause we have like a thing here in my complex. If it's something good, you leave it outside the dumpster so everyone knows that they can take it. And I was like, oh, this dresser was cool. And it was like one of them old style dressers that had like the 6 drawers on the side, and the middle had the drawers when you open it and then you pull them out. So first of all, y'all, my bras and my panty underwear is excellent. It's beautiful. In there. So I ended up redoing that dresser, and I found stick-on wallpaper. And my house is like a beach theme. And it was like this beautiful sandy blue stick-on wallpaper that I redid my dresser. And my brother called me. He's like, and I posted the pictures like online. He's like, you need to start a business with that. Like, that's your passion. It makes you feel good. And it was like, yeah, I did. But it was like, you know, it was like a healing thing. So it's like I was able to redo these pieces. So it was like the more pieces that I redid, it was like a part of me healing. So as I was fixing that piece, I was fixing a piece of myself. So I did what my brother said. I, you know, made my little website, put myself on OfferUp and all those places. And people like started hitting me up to like redo their tables and their chairs. And I realized like, I'm not a laborer. Like I was doing this for the feeling because it made me feel good, but it's like, I can't just do it like on demand. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, this is not going to work. So then I moved into social media. And I'm really good with editing videos. I've been really good with computers, like always. Yeah. My dad was the IT guy. So it's just literally like in my blood. I can literally just figure stuff out. If I don't know it, just give me some time. It'll get figured out. And I'm just like, oh, like, this is great. I'm good at this. And I do like editing videos, but this is not it still. Yeah. And then I'm like, I need something that's me. And my mentor gave me a book called Mastery by, I think it's Robert Greene. And he talks about in this book, going back to your kid self, and then your vocational habits and your hobbies. And you know, back in the day, people did stuff that they were already good at because all these other careers didn't exist, right? Yeah. I was like, damn, okay, what am I good at? I'm good at bombing. And then that's where we got to the app.
That's so cool. And like, as you were saying your story, it's so funny because my desk that I'm currently at right now, you can't see it, but it's like 8 feet long, I think. It has 2 computer stations, and I have dual monitors here and dual monitors over there, and my podcast editing stuff. Like, and it is from pieces from Home Depot that I painted like this giant piece of wood, and then I got resin out for the first time, and I put glitter on it, and like all this crazy stuff. And I did it in my garage. It was during when COVID first happened, and my hours were reduced at work. And I was like, you know what? I really like hands-on stuff. I have tools. I have, you know, access to Home Depot. I'm gonna just build my own table because then I can make it the size that I want. Right. And I also like to create and paint and stuff. So there's enough room on this giant table to do all the things. And yeah, I love that. Like, and then that was what happened to me too, is that I posted it on Instagram, and there were some people who were like, oh my God, like you should start selling stuff. And I'm like, like,
yeah, I kind of want to keep this for myself. Like, Yeah. And I have like several pieces in my house that like I've redone myself. Like I even upgraded the fireplace in my apartment with stick-on tiles. So, and like you literally can't tell that like I did that. You would think it's a part of the apartment. And it's funny because the upgraded apartments in my complex actually use that same stick-on tile for the backsplashes in the kitchen.
How funny.
So they're just like, well, when you move out, just leave it.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, because I didn't want to deal with taking it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was literally the more I started, that's how you have to go. So sometimes you're not going to find your passion the first time around. You get to figure it out and explore stuff and really see like how you feel. And it's like, great, I have all these talents. Again, that's the problem with me being limitless.
Yeah.
But it's like really like what it is. So Parent Playground allows me to do exactly what I love doing. I've already been the person, the go-to person. Oh, like Tyronica, like, you know what's happening? I'm like, I can never tell you what's happening on a strip in Vegas, but I can tell you when Disney Ice is coming. I can tell you when the Little Mermaids at the amphitheater in Henderson. Like, I can tell you all the like kids stuff. I can tell you when movie night is, all that stuff. So I'm like, why don't I get to do what I already do?
Yeah. No, that's
on
awesome.
a mass scale. So yeah, so for life, what I do is I just be a mom. I just be a mom.
Be an amazing mom. That's so cool. I'm so excited for you. So you had mentioned earlier the app, and I don't think we mentioned what devices it was available on. Is it on iPhone and Android platforms?
Yep, it's available in the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. And yeah, I didn't create the web version only because the whole point of the app is so you can have it in your pocket.
Right.
Yeah. So you can get it on your devices.
Awesome. So we have a little bit of time left, and I do want to touch on one more thing. We mentioned in the intro of the podcast, Virago or Virago?
No, the Virago. You said it right the first time.
Virago Association. What is that?
It is a women's networking group. After I got fired from my job, that was September 2019, my cousin randomly called me, and she's just like, I just want to confide in you and tell you something. And, I don't know who else to go to. And she's like, I saw you were doing like your thing with CBD. And she's like, I got laid off my job and I don't know where to go. And I need someone to talk to. And so basically we just started like supporting each other. And she was just like, what if we just did this for a group of women, just women who are just starting off, trying to start over, and be a support system, literally be a group of accountability partners. And that's how the Virago was born. So we literally just have a group of women where we're all starting our businesses, we're all growing, and, it's our baby and our passions. And we literally just support each other. That's and give really each other ideas and bounce ideas off of each other, and whatever tools and resources that we individually come across, we share it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. This is exactly like you are the exact fit for this kind of podcast. Like my whole goal is to have women supporting women like, bouncing ideas off each other, feeling comfortable with each other. Like, doesn't matter where you live, where you came from, what you look like, nothing. We're all women. Right. And like, we all have things that we can share, and we can be like, quote unquote, sisters together, and like really learn from each other. And I'm so honored to have you here today and share your story.
I'm so honored that you have me. And then like, that was the good thing. That's what we wanted too, because it's so, again, we have like such a passion culture of like turning each other down. And it was like, there is no competition, and we have a couple of women who do the same thing. It's like, great. So now when you discover something, you can help me. And it's like, even if we do the same thing, you have to understand, I don't care what you say your clientele and your niche is, you're not going to have the same clients, because the person who I would go to, who I like doing my hair, it may not be the same person that you like going to do your hair. Because personally, I like stylists that don't talk. I don't want to talk when I'm getting my hair done. Like, I want you to service me in silence. Like, it's okay. Like, I came here for peace. So that's not going to be the same person who another person says, hey, I need to have a stylist who wants to have a conversation and really customer service me during the appointment. So it's like, because of your personality, you're still going to have a different clientele. So there really is no competition.
Yeah. And there's so many people out there anyway. Like we're
Right. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh man. So I think you mentioned earlier today too that you just started a podcast.
Yes. So I started recording. The podcast is going to release in April or May. It's called Shift Happens. And it's really getting down to the nitty gritty of parenting. I see a lot of parents that, like myself, we struggle with parenting sometimes. Like I freaking wing this shit every day.
Yeah.
And there's no like perfect formula. And this is a safe space for us to actually discuss the real things of parenting. Like, you know, there are times when our kid's not going to be able to full meal. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes Kelsey has fucking chips for dinner. I don't feel like it tonight. Like, I'm done with you. So it's like just us being able to be vulnerable, have a safe space to actually talk about the real stuff with parents. And it's like I watch parents get crucified so much in the media when one thing goes wrong, and it's just the same parents who do the same thing and just didn't get caught.
Yeah.
So it's like we can all talk about it because we're dealing with a lot of stuff. We're dealing with our kids. The identity crisis is on a whole nother level because now you have all these sexual identities. I'm a boy, I'm a girl. One day, like, you're dealing with a lot. And I've had to talk to my freaking 5-year-old, who she's 7 now, but, you know, started talking to her about sex because now they're bringing that up a lot earlier. So it's not a thing. So Shift Happens is literally, it's raw. It's gonna raise your blood pressure. It may upset you a little bit. You know, I even I'm actually looking for someone right now. We're having a religion episode where we're having someone who's spiritual. We're having someone who's completely full-blown religious and someone who's an atheist. We're all going to get on there at one time and talk. So these are going to be topics that are just raw, but they're real. And it's like we get to put this out in a space and not only understand each other, but respect each other.
Exactly.
And come like in harmony. And it's just like, it is what it is. You don't have to like the other person's parenting style, but at the same time is the real world. Like this is what's actually happening.
This is so amazing. Cause I honestly feel that like, if we were to put down, you know, these judgments that we have in our head, like you brought up a big one, religion, politics is another one, that if I'm on one side of the spectrum and you're on the other side of the spectrum and that's all I know about you, and so automatically I hate you because you're not on my page. Wait a minute. Like, and we don't even necessarily have to have any conversation about politics here. We can align on other ideas and realize that you're a female, you're a human, you're going through this earth the same time that I am. So we can align on that and leave all the other bullshit aside. And I think if there was more communication on like what we have in common rather than like all the differences, like there wouldn't be all this craziness right now.
Exactly. And it's just like there's more than one way to do something. So I just want to create that space for us all to realize that, yes, we all have these crazy differences, but at the end of the day, we all have all these similarities and there is a common ground for us to come on. And then on top of that, I may learn something from an atheist lifestyle that I'm like, you know what? It's not about the fact that you're atheist. It's about the fact that I like that technique.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't want to write people off by one fact about them because that's not the only thing about them.
Or like you said earlier, keep yourself in your little comfortable box because that's what you're comfortable with. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, then how do you expect to grow if you want to stay in this comfort zone? There's no growth and comfort.
Yeah.
So what's our saying? You need to you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's literally what this is all about. Like, I'm trying to get deep. I'm trying to get some emotions drawn up. I mean, maybe some tears in there. We may raise our voice just a little bit, but we're not going to attack each other. And it's going to be like a passionate thing, but it's going to be a real thing. And I think a lot of parents will appreciate that, knowing that, hey, like, this is something I never talked about with anybody because maybe I was embarrassed. And this is a real thing. Like, I promise you, we all do the same shit.
Yeah.
Like, right. So it's literally, that's why the podcast is called Shift Happens, because shit does happen every single day. There's no way you can plan for it. No matter what they tell you. Oh, I want to be ready to have a kid. You'll never be ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're thinking about having a kid. You're never going to be ready. Either you do it or you don't. Like, that's it. And then if you have more than one kid, even people that have more than one kid can tell you it's different every single time around. So there's kids who grew up in the same household, and you come out and you guys grew up in the same household, and they're two different individuals.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the same thing. So yeah, it's just real parents talking about the shit you're scared of.
That's so cool. I'm so happy for you, and I'm so happy to see when this comes out. I'll listen to it. We'll list all of your links here in the podcast for those people who didn't catch everything in the beginning, or maybe be driving or something and can't exactly click on something right now. So we have your the Parent Playground app. I got all mixed up with Shift Happens. We have Shift Happens coming out, Parent Playground, your personal stuff. So if you want to just mention right now some of the links or websites or, Instagram pages, and then I can also put them in the description of the podcast for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to start off with the Virago Association.info. And then we also have an Instagram. So if you go to the website, you can find the Instagram, you can find the Facebook. And next we have Parent Playground. It's parentplaygroundapp.com. On there, you can also find the information on everything the Parent Playground app has to offer, plus the podcast, because the podcast is a Parent Playground Presents.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And yeah, so those are like my two major components, because everything else derives from Parent Playground.
Cool.
So you can find everything on there that Parent Playground has to offer. And especially if you're a small business owner, definitely connect with me and You Tailor Your Children, because I definitely would love to have you listed on the app and the directory for parents to find you.
That's awesome. So for everybody that's listening right now, go check that out when you have a chance. If you have contributions, reach out to Tyronica. We'll put all of her info here in the description of the podcast. And Tyronica, thanks again. I'm so excited to be with you on this journey. I can't wait to see what you have coming up in the near future.
Yes, thank you for having me. I love this platform that you're creating for women and the voice that we get to have, and understand that we are these magical human beings. And before I leave, I make sure I want to say pussy power. Okay, y'all?
Yeah. See, you can still be a mom and be able to have a little edge.
Yes, you're still yourself. You're just a better you.
I love it. Thank you, Tyronica, and thank you, everybody who's listening, and we will catch you next time. Thank you so much for listening. You can find more episodes on the website at www.limitlessladiesandleadership.com. To support the podcast and keep episodes coming, check out Patreon at Limitless Ladies in Leadership. To keep updated with new episodes, give the podcast a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Limitless Ladies in Leadership. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait for our next show.